What's up guys, this is an FCS2 Surfboard Finbox repair video. I lost the footage for the intro, so here is me describing the intro with some pics I took with my phone of the damage. Here you can see this is an FCS2 Finbox that had a boulder strike. So this Finbox was broken loose from the fiberglass. So my plan is to salvage the surrounding tinted glass so no color match is needed. What I did was remove the Finbox by cutting it out using a Dremel rotary tool with a cutoff disc. And remember, with FCS2 Finboxes, I don't recommend using a router to route out the damaged Finbox because there is a metal pin in them. Also, this Finbox was too loose to be able to router it out anyways. Alright, so that's it for the intro, on to the rest of the video. Okay, so what I gotta do now is I gotta make up the difference in here because I was able to salvage the color. This is recessed inward, so I can't just cut out a nice block and just glue it in because then I'll have this gap, and I can't use the Gorilla Glue to make up that gap because it won't be very strong. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to take little pieces and kind of build it out all the way around just because of this odd shape. So all I'm going to do is just cut off little pieces and just glue them in place. Now it's pretty humid, so I'm not even going to bother to activate it. But what I'll do is I'll just take my time and glue in a bunch of pieces here. And I'm just going to use a block of foam here just to wedge it all in until it sets. And I'll come back and just keep doing it over and over again until it's done. All right, we're getting there. This is all backfilled now, so that's nice and solid. We got a nice solid amount of foam underneath the glass. So I'm just going to backfill the bottom here, and then I'll take my router and router out a new hole for the Finbox. Essentially what I'm doing here is breaking up just some of the bead foam into just smaller pieces so it gets into all the crevices, because what's happened is there's so much foam that's been pulled out by the Finbox when it got popped out that it's all the way to the other side of the board. So the beautiful thing about this polyurethane glue is it's very strong, and once I use it to kind of make my own piece of foam, it will be very strong. And I love this white Gorilla Glue. It totally is the same color as EPS Foam, and it expands to fill voids. A little goes a long way, actually. And I will give it a quick spritz of water this time, even though it is a bit humid. I just want a little bit of activation just so it spreads out and fills all of those voids. So I got all this bead foam here. Just gonna throw it all in here. It doesn't need to be full because I am still gonna need that space for the Finbox. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up a couple pieces of foam and just squish in there to make it really compact. What will happen is that foam is going to expand and surround all those beads. And this foam is just put in place here just to kind of compress it in. I'm just going to come back and check it here in half an hour, and we'll be ready to go on to the next stage. That came out really well. It filled up everything. I didn't expect it to span that much. What I ended up doing was put a piece of plastic over it and just some weights on it. So now I'm just going to cut off this foam. All right, I got it trimmed down. I set up my jig for the FCS Fusion. Well, actually it's not Fusion. Technically it's FCS2. And I'm going to route this out. So unfortunately, the only color Finbox the owner was able to get for this board, because I don't do FCS, I only install futures for when I build, because I mostly build boards, I don't really repair them a ton, was this FCS2 red. I did one previously and I was able to fake it by tinting over the glass and then making it look white. So I'll have to do the same here. Okay, that looks really good. Fits nice. I think that should do it. Also, just take a look at how good that foam came out with the polyurethane glue. I got a little bit here that I just got to sand off. But yeah, nice and solid. As good as new. So what I'm going to do now is set the fin into the box, so then I can ensure I have the proper angle so that it matches the other side as well, like over here. So I've already got a template that's the same angle. I believe this is a 9-degree box, but to get this fin set into this box, like, it's got that pin in there, so it sits in this ridge because it's a toolless system. I don't want to damage the foam or the box trying to pull this fin out until I actually get glass around it. So I'm going to mix up some epoxy with some cabosil, some thickener to get this fin box put in place. Like, look at this. Got this on the vise, and I'm trying to set it. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it. Oh look, I ended up getting it, and it was tough. So what I'm going to do is just rough up the box a little bit. It doesn't really need to be, because it's kind of already quite porous. Give it a quick wipe down with some acetone. And for me, because this is an EPS board, I'm going to make sure to repair it with epoxy, because if you use polyester resin, well, it will melt the foam. I'm going to do like 6 grams of resin. Okay, I'm just going to add a little cabosil to thicken up the resin. I want it about as thick as like toothpaste. Okay, we want it about that thick so it kind of holds on its own. Also, I gotta use this right away because I can't let it sit in the pot because it's really hot today, or else this will go exothermic really quickly. What I actually do is butter the fin box itself. Might just tape it down, but we'll let this set up and it should be good. Actually, I am going to mix up a little more resin just for back here, so I won't do that on camera, but you get the idea. Now I'm going to give it a quick wipe down with some acetone. Because the FCS Finbox is red, and that's the only color they could get, I have to tint the resin and try to hide it. So I got this really, really deep white resin tint, and just a couple drops here should turn it nice and white. And it's pretty opaque. It'll hide a lot. Like, look at that. Just like a drop or two, and it did this. And it's very opaque. Yeah, this will do a great job hiding it. Now what I should have did was tape the openings closed. So I might do that right now. I also mixed a little cabosil in with it just to thicken it up. Okay, I'm going to let that set up. I'll come back and touch up around the holes, and then we'll throw some glass over this. Okay, actually, what I'm going to do is I popped off the tape around the holes. I'm just going to touch this up just a tad. Not bad, not bad. I've mixed up some epoxy, cut out some fiberglass, sanded, roughed up the area around the repair, around the fin box, wiped it down with acetone so it's nice and clean. And now I'm just going to laminate on a piece of glass just to reinforce the fin box. All right, what I'm going to do now is I got some 320 sandpaper on my sanding pad here, on my polisher, sander, and I'm just going to take this down because it's already pretty smooth, and it's just going to smooth and feather this into the rest of the board. If I need to put another coat of epoxy on, I may, but I'm going to try to blend this in, and then I'm going to hand sand it, wet hand sand it with 400 grit. Right now I got 320 on this, and this should only just take a few, not very long because this is a rotary sander, but you could totally do this just by hand if you don't have one of these on a small repair like this. I will mention that the method I use to install this fin box is slightly different than how they are normally installed, as the openings are typically sanded open, but since I had to hide the red color of the fin box, I'll grind open the fin boxes with a rotary tool. Alright, I got the fin box done. It's looking pretty good. It matches the rest of them. It's white anyway. It's installed. It is a real pain to get FCS2 fins into this stupid toolless system because it's got that little slot, like little round mechanism that is on a spring and it squishes in. So it seats into little tab here, this little recessed slot. It feels like I'm going to push the fin and the fin box right through the board. And to pop the fin out, I usually have to use this fin puller now to get the thing out. Anyways, let's pop it in. The repair is finished. This is a new box. It's clean. Maybe take that out. This is ridiculous. Okay, there it went. Man, I do not like doing that. It feels like I'm going to damage the fin box. Okay, it's installed. Looks good. Matches the rest. It's white. Strong. Good to go.